Hey guys, welcome back. This is Achieng Opio. This is where we talk about parenting, and this is where we say parenting haina manual. Also, this is where we make you rich with parenting knowledge. Today we are doing it differently. We are going to speak to Nuria on his Nuria bookstore, but before we go there, he's going to introduce himself and then we talk about parenting kidogo before we venture into his books and his bookstore. Karibu sana Nuria, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Asante. My name is Abdullahi Bule. I am the founder and the owner of Nuria store. So we started Nuria in 2015. It's the first online bookstore in Kenya. We have been selling books online and offline, and we have been supporting as well Kenyan authors, especially self-published authors.
Thank you very much, Nuria. We also have Debbie here. Debbie, sijakusahau. I was seeing you and I knew I was going to introduce you. So can we start with Debbie having to ask Nuria questions?
Okay, I don't think I'm a guest in this YouTube channel anymore, so I don't really need an introduction. But Nuria, we are really happy to be with you here today. So I'm not a parent, I'm not going to ask questions about parenting, but I'm going to ask about books. So when did you start this online bookstore?
I've started in 2015. It's the first online bookstore. I started as a Facebook page. At that time, I was a banker. I was still working. And the reason why I started was a year before that, I started reading books, and I used to source books local and also internationally. And then there are some specific books that you couldn't find them here in Kenya, so I used to import and read them. And then some of my colleagues started borrowing books from me. And then there's a lady who suggested that I must maybe start, renting out books or start selling books to them as well. So then I opened a Facebook page and then did my first shipment or first import, international import of imported books. And then I started selling from my house. That was second week of December. And then the same month, I opened a website, but it crashed. The website crashed, and then later on again, we redid the website in January, and then we upgraded again in May. So since then, we have been upgrading the website. So that's how we began Nuria. We used to have a store where we used to keep books and sell online. And then at that time, it wasn't easy to sell books and other items online. So customers wanted to know where you are. They want to know your physical shop. So we opened a store at along Moyaven in 2018, October. So we started now having a physical shop at the same time and online, and also from our store as well. So since then we have been doing selling both offline and online.
That's very nice. So you mentioned you being a banker. So how was it balancing being a banker and doing the book thing?
It's an interesting thing because I've been in business since I think 2010. On and off. I used to have a shop in Isli where I used to sell cold drinks, I used to sell fresh juice and other stuff. So, but it didn't even reach a year. So after 10 months, I closed. The shop wasn't doing well. I also started selling or distributing rather camel milk. We used to have, I think, a guy from Germany who used to have a farm in Nyuki. So I used to sell or distribute milk for him in Isli and also in South Sea. So later on also that, I don't know what happened to the guy. I think he passed on. So, and then that business, I stopped doing it. And then I ventured into spare parts and tires and rims. I used to sell it on OLX at that time. So, and then I opened my first online spare parts. It didn't do well, so it collapsed as well. I opened a spare part again. No, tires and rims only, where there's a lady who used to supply me, or rather I used to sell for her. online, especially on OLX. And then that's now when I started venturing into now online space. That's from 2011 till 2013. And then I took a break in 2013, 2014, took a break because all those businesses were not doing well. So I took a break. That's between 2014 to 2015. That time when I took a break, that's when I started now reading books.
So all this came because you are a book lover, or it's just something you decided to do out of the blue because all these other businesses were failing?
And also I wanted to take a break from business.
Okay.
So I've been on and off. Even while I was in campus, I was doing small businesses. So I was in campus when I was running that shop in Isli. So when I was also doing that distribution of camel milk, because I used to do mainly during the weekend, and the shop, I used to have a guy who used to work at that shop, and then I used to either visit him thrice or 4 times in a week, because I used to live in Isli and the shop was in Isli. So that and then started doing my master's in 2011 because I graduated in 2010. In 2011, I enrolled for my master's, finished in 2013. When I was doing my master's now, I don't know what triggered me or which lecturer, helped me now to explore more on books.
Yeah.
So I started having that, urge to read books. So, and mainly I was biased towards business books and autobiographies. Those are the books that I used to read. And to some degree, some self-help books. So that forced me now to visit bookshops and read books and buy them online. And I think when I took that break, that's now when I fully focus now in reading books.
Yes.
So that year between 2014 till I think 2015 December, when I opened the Facebook page of Nuria, that's now that period now that forced me now to venture into business. Why? I was involved in some online businesses before through OLX, and also opened a website for spare parts. That now background forced me now to search on buying books online. So I couldn't find a bookstore that was selling at that time online.
Yes.
So there were only physical shops or bookshops. So then I saw an opportunity. Then I opened the website and reached out to other bookshops. They didn't want to place their books on Nuria. So what I did was I started importing and also now accommodating local authors. At that time, 2016, if you are not an author that's well known in the market, most of these established bookshops at that time, they were not, accommodating self-published authors. So I started onboarding now self-published authors since 2016 and helping them reach more customers via online.
Very interesting, Nuria, because Debbie and I count ourselves lucky having met you to bring our books and have you sell them for us. We are grateful for that. One thing I picked though is not that you ventured into business and then you sprouted just like that. You failed so many times, but you kept going. Can you tell our audience, because I know they are very interested to know, what kept you going? Even though you failed one business or another, you never gave up.
Okay. I don't know, because I've learned, books were introduced to me by my father.
Yeah.
My father never went to a formal school, so he used to be a houseboy in an AP camp. He taught himself how to read and write, and then at that time, it was, I think, maybe in late 60s, early 70s, and then he was employed by administration police, and that's how they employed him, and then he became a driver to the DO and then DC, and then later on got a job in the Middle East. He worked there. So while he was working there for over 30 years, way before even most of us were born, he saw an opportunity where he didn't have formal education.
Yeah.
And he taught himself Arabic, English, and Swahili, speaks them well, and he has never stepped in a class. So now he started now, when he used to visit us, back from Middle East, he used to visit us once or after every 2 years once. So he used to bring books. Besides clothes and other goodies, he used to bring books. So we used to have books in our house, encyclopedias and so on and so forth. So that background also contributed to the book, my what is it called, my hobby towards reading. That was a big contribution. On not giving up, my father also taught me now also, even my mother, while he was away, she used to do other businesses. So that the month, she doesn't get any money, or even though he used to say it every month, or if that money is not enough, she used to have some small businesses where that she used to help her kids. And she never gave up on her life, and then she used to support our husband and her family and her kids. And our father as well used to do everything, having not been to school, to support his kids. He took 2 of my brothers to India while he was still working as a driver, to India to do the degree there. One did in IT, another one did in law. He took to my sisters to college in Kenya. He took me to a university here in Kenya. So that desire to help his kids, to the kid to be different, that also helped me a lot. So I had a very solid foundation where to never ever give up, and also to be hungry for knowledge, and also to seek wisdom, and also to help others. So that really was, I think, the foundation, the humble foundation that really helped me. Even if I fail, to never ever give up, to learn from those failures and build on it and keep on going on. So that really helped me. Both my parents, helped me a lot in an unconscious way, where they were helping us, but they didn't know. So they never they never gave up in providing for the family in a good way, because both of them, they lived an honest, life, where they used to earn a good and legal, and lawful income. Okay. Yeah, where they used to do business. My mama used to do small businesses, and my father used to work and earn, hard earned, which is good money, and then spend on his kids. He used to spend a lot of money on his kids. So that really helped me, to never give up, and also never fail them as well.
Okay. Yeah. That's so amazing. So what are some of the challenges you face when doing this book thing? Because I know it could be a lot. Yeah. But can you share with our audience so that they know it's not like you just take it up and walk. There are challenges here and there, and you can also share the disadvantages as well.
Well, books are not easy to sell. Mm-hmm. When I started books, the thing is, I was just punching numbers in my head. I tell most of the people, or even authors, and any person who wants to venture into business, that you do some magic calculation where you just say, if I sell 10 books per day, my margin is 200 bob, 300 bob, multiply that by this, and then you just say every month I'm going to make 100k, 200k net. It doesn't work like that. So that's how, when I started looking at business. Yeah. So I used to say, I just need to sell 10 books per day. I just need to sell 50 books a month or 200 books per month. So without knowing on how to market, how to push, whether customers will buy that book, where will you be based, do you have a brand, are you known in the market? So I never considered all those factors. I just said Kenya's population is 50 million, 40 million. The adult population is 19 million, 20 million. Employed maybe 15, 20 million. So I was just getting, statistics and numbers and picking them. Yeah. And thinking that based on that, I just need 0.01% of that, and then I will get business. So it didn't work like that. So it was tough. When we started, I employed a guy who used to work for me, who I used to pay a salary. And I used to pay from my pocket, from my salary. From the salary, that's what I used to pay. The business was there, but no income. So it was a big struggle, and I used to drive a car. I used to have a Mac X. I sold it. I put it in business. And then 2018, when I left employment, I used some of my savings, some of my pension I accessed. I put it into the money. The business ate everything. I sold a property that I had, land. I sold it, cleared my debt, my loan. The money that was remaining from that sale of the property, I put it in the business. The business ate everything. So the business is not easy, and it takes time by the time you break even. So, and it needs a lot of patience. So it's hard. So any business you venture into, it's tough. Unless you are lucky, or unless there's a big financial behind you, or unless you come from a wealthy family where you have a fallback, you can ask your daddy or mommy to give you, some money. So, but if it is just a normal person like me, who, there are some people who rely on you, you have family, you have brothers and sisters who are in school that you need to support, then it's tough. It's very tough. So it's not easy. So I always advise, if you are venturing into business, you must have less liabilities before you venture into business. If you are married and you have kids, and then you're venturing into a business that you don't understand very well, then there's high chances it will drain you. There's high chances you might have a mental breakdown. There's high chances it will affect your relationship with the wife or your spouse. There is high chances that you might not have time with your kid. There were high chances that you might not give what your kids want. So if you're venturing into a business, do it while you are single. And then there's a very big bad perception, or a bad mantra that people are taught, that where you start and everything will fall into, will synchronize. It will never happen like that. So sometimes it's good to do a thorough market research before you venture into any business, so that you know in and out about the business, and then you now think of a fallback. What is my fallback? In case this happens, what will I do? So if you're not married and you can, sleep without, the food, you can have milk, and then, there's nothing, you will worry about. But now when you are, but when you are married and you have kids, your kids, they don't care whether you work or not. Daddy, I want to go to this place. Mommy, I want to go to this place. Mommy, I want these clothes. I need food. So you cannot tell them, I don't have. But when you're single now, you can just have 500 ml milk and then drink and sleep. And you're good you can sleep that night and maybe spend 60 bob, 70 bob. So, and even eat cheapo of 100 bob. But now once you have other liabilities or other people who depend on you, then it's always need to be very calculative. Take a calculative risk. It's good to be a risk taker, but take a risk that you have a fallback, and there's a risk that you can mitigate. So I think that's what I usually tell any person who ventures into business. You must have a fallback. Whether it's a sister or a brother or a father, someone who can help you in case things go haywire. So it's good not to give up. It's good to start any business, but it's also good to be very calculative. It's also good to think of any fallback. It's also good to self-analyze ourselves, because most of the time, what our brain tells us, 99% of what it tells us are lies and true. And every time, we try and take certain, decision, or we make certain decision, we think that decision is accurate or right. It's not. All these people who are successful, all of them you see, all those people who are taking risk, majority of them, they know what they're doing. Majority of them, they have betted on something, they know, they have an experience behind them. And then you might see other people, who ventured into business, and then you think that those guys are doing well, but you don't know what they're doing behind the scenes.
Yes.
There's what I show the public, and there's what's happening in my private life.
Yes.
So it's always, before you make decision, you need to look at several factors, because most of the time what our brain tells us and what is out there in reality are totally different. So yeah, it's good not to give up, but it's also good to be very calculative and analyze the risk and everything around you. There are a lot of, the environment around us are not as we think. Yeah, so it's always good to be a risk taker, but take a risk that is, you have a fallback to. Yeah.
That's amazing. What's the number of authors that you support right now? Those that you have, there are millions of books.
There are many, so I don't know. There are, I think, there are many. I think I can say there are over 550 now.
Oh, that's so nice. Congratulations. And you guys, it's Happy Nuria, and this is the Nuria that we normally talk about. So don't forget to look him up and buy books from him. Debbie, you have a question?
Just one more question before we cross over to parenting.
Yes.
What of those new authors that have like self-published their books? How can they reach you? How can they get their book to you? Or maybe an advice? Yes.
I think we created, a few years ago, we created the first vendor portal where authors can open an account with us and then register as a vendor, and then where we enable them. Once we enable them, they can put all their books on our platform and then monitor their sales, monitor their orders and everything. And once the orders are fulfilled, they can access their cash. So we pay them instantly if they want, and some we pay them monthly, some when they want to withdraw their cash. So we used to do that for them. Now we decentralized that function to them,
yes,
where they can, upload the books. Early late last year, the fourth quarter of last year, we launched the first app in Africa, Nuria app, which is an ebook reader, an audiobook reader. So where you can listen to books if you want, and
yes,
also read ebooks on our platform, on our app. So we don't have many ebooks, no audiobooks, but we have a lot of ebooks.
yes.
So where readers can read as many books as they can on the ebook, and also listen to many books they want. But for audiobooks now we have only international authors. We are yet to get or find Kenyan authors who have converted the books into an audiobook.
Yes.
So I think that's one, area that I'm looking forward to this year, where most authors might, or some authors, maybe some percentage of authors, might convert their books to audiobooks. And then it's not a market that is huge, but it's a market I think that we need to explore and has huge potential. So I'm looking towards to that audiobook space this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Really gets there.
Yeah.
yeah, and what's your plan with the store, with your bookshop and all that?
I don't know.
For the future, like where do you see yourself?
I don't know. I really see what is today and tomorrow. I've never planned that we'll move to this new place that's under construction.
Mm-hmm.
So my hope is this year is to do more events. Last year we did one,
yeah,
so hopefully we can do two this year in Nairobi, and maybe hopefully outside Nairobi another one or two. So I'm looking towards where my dream is to see one time where Kenyan authors will fully just write books and make good living out of it. So that's the future I'm looking to. And also I would love to see maybe this year or next year some of the Kenyan books be converted into a movie and be shown in Netflix. I don't know when, but those are some of the things I'm looking forward to. So I'm also looking forward to onboarding more authors.
Yeah.
Maybe we hit the 1,000 mark.
Or a million.
For authors, Kenyan authors.
Yeah.
So I hope so. So we see how the year rolls out. But I'm just one person who just take action on what I can do. The thing that I can do is seek help. If I don't get help, and then I just, because the event we did last year, I wanted to do it in 2019. So I couldn't do it. So I looked for a sponsor. It didn't work. 2020, COVID. 2021, I looked for someone to help me. I couldn't get it. So 2022, we just have to do it. Yeah. So so we got some hit, but yeah, we did some good work. Yeah.
Okay. So guys, we are going to take you to parenting shortly. Nuria, you've talked about your parents, and I'm so amazed because from what you had said, I was feeling like, oh my God, those were so good parents. You know, I know sometimes you don't see it then, but it must have ventured into your life right now that they were doing the best that they could then. Before you tell us how that has helped your life, can you tell us a bit about your childhood, just briefly?
Well, I think I had a good childhood life. Even though I was suspended once while I was in primary, I was in class 7, and also got suspended twice in high school. But anyway, I had a good life because most of the time I was with my mother, because our father was out of the country, and used to visit us maybe once a year or after every 2 years. So, and we are raised well, you know, our mom raised us well. From my mom's side, we are 7, 4 boys and 3 girls. And basically, I think we had an amazing upbringing. So, yes, at some point I was a bit
Trying to get off the book.
yes, so I was kind of a kid, so I'm not a kid that you can control. So I started, I think, while I was in primary. So I never liked to be pushed or to be, you know, forced into something. So, and I always enjoyed or loved a free world to some extent. The world can be free, can't be free. But now I always like to be on my own space, and also accommodate other people's space, or you know, appreciate them. So my upbringing was really nice, even though, you know, I wasn't an easy child to bring up. So, but it taught me a lot. Yeah.
How are you raising your children right now? First, are you a father of how many, and how are you raising them?
I know I have 2 kids. I think I got engaged in 2014. Married 2015, got married, and then 2016 I got my first kid. So I have 2 kids now. So I'm married. I don't know how many years now. 6, 7 years. 7 years. Yeah. So I have 2 sons, 2 boys. So one is in grade 1, and the other one is 1.5. No, 1 year now. 1.5 years old. Yeah. So I think he will turn maybe 2 years in March. So
How is parenting? How is parenting for you?
It's hard. It's not easy because you can't balance things. You have to, you know, sacrifice something. So, because most of the time I'm consumed by my business, so I spend time with my kids either on Saturday or Sunday, especially Sundays. I spend time with them. So, but weekdays, unless I go home early, I always go home when they are asleep. Because the kid who is going to grade 1, because he has to sleep early, and then so that he goes to school in the morning. So it's tough. So you have to make some kind of balance and some kind of sacrifice. So kids need more of your time, and when you are running a business that really needs you, or a business that's really struggling, so it's hard now. So something has to consume more of your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where the problem is.
Anything you learned from your parents that you've carried over to raise your children?
One of the things is just general discipline, where they need to respect their kids, they need to respect the environment, they need to respect the society, and the other thing is now to be independent. Yeah, so I tell my 6-year-old kid that he need to be independent of me or his mother. He might need our affection or any other stuff, but as he grows up, I'm teaching him now to be conscious of the environment and also to rely more on himself than other people, and also to observe the environment, to analyze the environment, and also pick whatever he sees, the good things, and apply the good things, and not to be just a sponge where they absorb everything. So I tell him to question everything, to question me, to question my decision, to ask questions. As teachers, you need to challenge them. So I'm teaching him to be more of a thinker than just become a sponge where you're just taught something, you accept everything. So there are a lot of things you'll pick or learn from the environment. So I'm trying to teach him to use more of his brain than other people's brain, so that you become more independent, and if he becomes maybe in future to innovate something, he will be innovating something differently. So that's the only way I think the gift we can give to our kids is, besides teaching them our own values, we need to teach them how to think, not what to think about. So I think the school system generally in the whole world, they teach you to be a good person, a good worker, so they don't want you to be on the peripheries or outside the society. Yeah. And those are the people who innovate or create or change the environment. Yes. Or bring a big, innovations to the society. Yes. Why? Because they think outside the society. Yes. But most of the time, our teachers, our parents, they teach us to think along their line. Your father did this, your grandfather did this. So they don't want you to deviate. Yes, outside that. That's why you see in Kenya or in Africa generally, we are still we are behind because of what? Because we don't want to deviate from the normal thinking. Because we don't want to move away from our cultures and values that are holding back. Yeah. Yes, it's good to hold onto our cultures, but we need to drop the things that are not adding value, the things that are bringing division, the things that are not progressing us in life need to be dropped and replaced. So those are some of the things I'm trying to teach him, so that he picks everything, because he should not be a sponge where just everything I tell him and achukua tu everything the teachers, yes. So I'm teaching him to say no to what is not making sense to him, to question everything, whatever it is, and also to ask questions as many as possible. So I'm just trying to make them, to be more curious, and I think that's how we need to raise our kids, instead of programming them in a certain way, either through your religious beliefs or through, your cultural belief, all those beliefs. We are still, most of us, my majority of us, stuck in some of, practices that are, ancient. So I think that's what we need to hand over to our kids, so that they make a decision for themselves, but we guide them. So to use more of their brain than just becoming a dump site, where they just watch something, they absorb. You tell them something, they absorb. So now your thinking revolves around what is in your brain. Yes. What was dumped in your brain. Yeah. So we need to dump more of good things and free space in their brain, so that, they apply their brain more.
Guys, this is what we say. This is where we make you rich with parenting knowledge. What Nuria is saying is very important. Some of these things you can't find them anywhere unless you are subscribing here. I'm going to ask Nuria to give us a parting shot and also give us his address. But before then, I will give Debbie a chance to ask one parenting question.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, I honestly do not have a question because Nuria has made it plain and simple. Like that is very good advice that I wish some of us knew some of these things when we were growing up. You know, it's thank you so much, Nuria, for impacting that knowledge into us. So maybe you can just tell us how to reach you on social media, where we can come to get our books physically. And before I hand over to Nuria, yeah, we are also authors at Chi and I. I'm the author of the book Veiled Heart. You can also get it at Nuria store, and Achi's book as well, Color of the Sun. You can also get it at Nuria store. So Nuria, tell us where people can find you.
Nuria store is an online store, nuriakenya.com. That's our website. You can order books online and then we deliver to you within and outside Kenya. We have a physical shop now at the Bazaar Mall along Moi Avenue, 11th floor, room 1105. 1105.
Yeah.
Yes.
We stock mainly Kenyan books, and we aspire to be one of the biggest stockists of Kenyan books and also promote Kenyan books. And the other thing is we have our social media accounts. Instagram is Nuria _ the honest store. Facebook is Nuria your store. And Twitter is, we have two handles. One is called @Nuria store and the other one is @Nuria books. So you can tweet us, you can tag us, you can like us, DM us, call us on our number on the website. Send us an email, order online, we'll deliver, we'll reply to our email, we'll reply to our DMs, and then attend to your need.
Thank you, Nuria. Guys, Debbie and I, we feel honored to have hosted Nuria today. We are going to have this on YouTube, so you can watch it on our YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe, like, and comment. And also you can share if you like the content. Do not forget to come here and buy books. Reading is, knowledge. You get knowledge every time you read. You perfect yourself in so many ways. And karibu sana Nuria, and thank you so much for according us this time. I know you were so busy, but you still decided I'll give you time. So thank you so much. May God bless you.
God bless you too.
All right.
Thank you so much, guys. We are signing out. I'm Debbie Jane.
I'm Achieng Opeo.
I'm Abdullahi Bule.
And happy Nuria.